Okay, what's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on? Shoulder shrug.
Just saying, and a whole lot of people out there not getting paid is what's going on. Seems like.
Well, that's what we're gonna talk about, okay? Because I'm all for the people getting paid, and these running backs out here need to get their money. Look, we've done a couple episodes leading up to this to prep you guys for what's about to come. Okay, we talked about the devaluation of the running back position, and look, these running backs, they must have watched this show, and they're like, man, Jose and Brodny, they're right, and we're not going to take it anymore. So we're going to discuss that on today's episode. Also, Coach Evans, he was first. Oh, Bazel, you are slipping, my friend. Okay. Yes. Coach Evans will be joining the show later. It's heating up, man. The power rankings is coming to a conclusion. In fact, next week, the conclusion will be on Wednesday. I think he said he's going to do number 1 and number 2 together, yes. And we'll discuss it on Wednesday's show. So we'll be going over the power rankings. Where did we leave off last time? 16 or 13, something like that.
I believe it was 16 that we did last.
16. So we're going 16 to 9. I think he did today. So we're going to discuss those teams. You don't want to miss that. We got a little James Harden drama. James Harden, he just finding out that, oh man, I might have complained a little too much. Now teams are saying, nah, we good. So where will James Harden go? Okay, he wants to go to the Clippers. Do the Clippers want him? I don't know. We'll discuss. All right. But let me get a shout out to the stream here. Yes, Coach Evans. And look, more subtitalia. He was first and second, B.
That's right.
Raven Ron in the house. Salute to you, Raven Ron. Says, what up, LBHT? I'm ready for some preseason. Long NFL drought. Okay. Yeah. See Iron Addict's in the house. What's up, see Iron Addict? All right. Yes. Got a StreamBot working. StreamBot will be dropping the link to our August 4th meet and greet going down in Columbia, Maryland. All right. Get your tickets today. All right. Lots of food, drinks, music. We're going to be giving away some prizes. Okay. You're going to have a lot of fun. So get your tickets, hang out with us. Okay. Let's see who else is here. Just Allo says, what's up, LBHT crew? I hope all is well with everyone. Same to you.
Thank you, Just Allo.
Our guy, Jeremy Miller in the house. What's on,
up, Jeremy?
Thanks for coming through. Agent E, who won last month's drawing, right?
Yes.
Congrats to you. Agent. And if you want to be a part of the drawing, all you have to do is get 1,000 points. How do you get points, B?
I mean, basically anything you do will get you some points. But being in the live stream, talking in the chat, submitting questions for the submitted questions portion of the show, answering the trivia question will get you some points. But if you want to just kind of knock it all out in one go, you can go to LBHTShow.com and sign up for our newsletter. That'll get you 1,000 points right there. If you purchase a ticket to the meet and greet event for August 4th, that gets you 6,000 points. And of course, any donations to the show will get you a lot of points as well.
That's right. And salute to Yolanda's in the house. Says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Yolanda.
What's up, Yolanda?
Danity's in the house. What's up, Danity? Says, welcome to the stream. Hit the like button and subscribe, kings and queens. Salute to you. Yes, indeed. That will get you points as well. Hitting the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. All right. Yes. So we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So wherever you're watching us, hit that like button. And if you're listening to the audio portion, this is Thursday afternoon. We hope you are enjoying your lunch. Okay.
What's up, Andre Mears?
Hey, look who's here. See, Tracy's here too. What's up, Tracy?
What's going on, Tracy?
B, football's around the corner. Yeah. That's what's going on. We haven't seen y'all all off season. Okay, all off season. Training camp has started. They know it. Well, welcome back. We know it's summertime. Doing things with the kids. I get it. We hope your summer's going well. All right. He says, been a minute since he could watch a live show. We get it. Man.
He's like, because I did not want to be here. That's okay, though, Andre. That's okay. Glad to see you back.
Our guy, he's in the house. What's going on, E? Thanks for coming through. Hando's in the house. It's a shame. It's no shame, man. People are living their lives. It's all good, man. They're living their lives. They back for some football, right? All right. So we have a lot to discuss. We're gonna get into it, but first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B has a special Black History fact for you guys, but it's special to us.
How do you know that's what I went with?
Cause I saw it in there.
Oh, okay. No, so they're talking about they call him an Australian heavyweight, Peter Jackson, which is kind of funny because
he's not Australian.
Director of Lord of the Rings and whatnot is from Australia. But that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about Peter Jackson, the bare knuckle boxing champion who was born where?
In St. Croix. St.
Croix, which is, if you don't know, where our mother is from, and half of our family lived down there for a couple of years. So it was interesting to find out. Not even the only big time professional boxer from St. Croix, but Peter Jackson was one of the greats. He was fighting.
I want to interject real quick, because it says he's from Australia, or he's Australian, but like you said, he's from St. Croix. They were owned by the Danish at the time.
Yes. Before becoming the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yes.
But he was one of the greats of his time. He fought in the late 1800s. He obviously beat everybody that Australia had to offer. Whatever. But then, like most great fighters, or very skilled fighters, he came to the U.S. and he said as soon as he touched down in San Francisco, he beat a man named George Old Chocolate Godfrey and won the. I can't decide if that's the worst or the best nickname ever. But he won the colored world, the colored heavyweight championship. And he went over to England and promptly beat a local champion there. And during the early part of his career, he beat 28 of the best fighters on the planet. Just kind of traveling around and taking on fights. He wanted to fight John Sullivan, who was the heavyweight champion of the world. John Sullivan was a scared boy. He said that he wasn't going to fight him because he would never fight a black fighter. He used the color bar as an excuse for not fighting Peter Jackson, but it is widely known that he did set up fights with a couple other black fighters. So he was just afraid of Peter, who they called the Black Prince.
Wasn't he the one that came out of retirement to fight Jack Johnson?
No. That was that was alfalfa farmer Jeffries. Who had to get back into shape and got in there and got whooped so bad. His trainer jumped into the ring and said, "Please don't hurt him anymore."
Yes.
So that was Jeffries.
I was saying it was the same guy. He'd be like, "See, this is why."
But after he had won the British Commonwealth title over in England, he came back to the U.S. and he had a fight against James Corbett. It was another great heavyweight fighter who had gone on to become a world champion. Their fight lasted 61 rounds. 6-1. And it stopped only because neither one of them could continue fighting, because 61 rounds is a very, very long time. It was a no contest. Unfortunately, he became ill not too long after that. He passed away at 40 due to tuberculosis. But he kind of, he was a trailblazer and opened the door for a lot of black athletes, particularly in boxing, with him, traveling all over the world and beating all these top fighters. He kind of paved the way for Jack Johnson, who, once he became the world heavyweight champion, he went to visit Peter Jackson's grave in Australia just to pay respects. Kind of, he made a pilgrimage, as he said, over there just to see his burial site. And kind of one of the reasons I went with this, obviously, because he was born in St. Croix, and that's kind of special, like you said, to us. But there's another black boxer who's going to be traveling the world to try to prove himself as one of the best, who we'll be talking about a little later in the show.
Yes, indeed. Man, 61 rounds.
Look, stupid, because it wasn't even 61 3-minute rounds, right? Like, they used to do rounds until somebody got knocked down.
I'm about to say, like, even if they were 1 minute rounds, that's still 60 minutes. That's That's Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat type of match. Right. Okay.
and those guys,
those are choreographed.
They used to do a lot of laying around for several minutes to get their win back. We used to just think they were hurt because we were children and we were dumb.
Because back then wrestling was real.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm still fascinated. I'm getting off topic, but I'm still fascinated how well wrestling is thriving now that the jig is up, right? Everybody knows that, it's not real, right? It's choreographed. Because back on our day, people now will say, oh yeah, I knew it was fake. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Nobody discussed it being fake or real. People were asked, is it real? It doesn't look, I'm not sure if that's real. Everybody thought it was real. If you were a kid to your teenage years, you thought it was real. 100% real. There are a lot of adults that thought it was
gods.
Real. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. When Macho Man got up on that top rope, I mean, he soared through the air with that elbow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So Jeremy said, I always said professional wrestling is the best sport. I mean, it's not sport.
But it's not, though.
Yeah, it's not sport. Megan, what's going on, Megan? Thanks for coming through. Oh, yes. See, look, Megan is back. Megan is back, y'all. That's how you know. She said, hey, boys, great to see you. Loving the Seahawks throwbacks. Hey, that's how you know football is starting up.
Yeah, I'm always in favor of teams changing up their uniforms. I really like what Cleveland's doing with their all-white uniform. But Seattle needs to change theirs back because those throwbacks look much better than what they're wearing now.
What's up, Mikey? He says, yo, checking in from PM Pediatrics Urgent Care. Man, what'd you do to my nephew now? What'd you do?
Hope everything's all right there, Mike.
Yeah. All right. Get our little Mikey is our assistant producer, one of our assistant producers for Ring Kings podcast. We need him up and running. Okay. Tell him his sick days are running out here. Okay. Yeah, but I hope everything's okay, Mikey and little Mikey. All right. Yes. Okay. Look.
I feel like he wouldn't have dropped FTK if it was serious.
I would hope not. Right. Speaking of up and running, the running back said, look, enough is enough already. All right. The NFL has been trying to prove a point. They were trying to prove a point with Lamar Jackson and quarterbacks. What?
That's Peter Jackson.
Oh my God. You forgot the picture.
and quite the dresser, right?
Yes. I mean, very stylish.
Looking smooth.
Yo, man.
Sorry, my bad.
Look at them knuckles, boy. I wouldn't want to. Bare knuckle boxing?
Every single time, bro. And like you said, you saw it in there, and I still didn't remember to put up the picture. Every time.
She'll get somewhere saying, "This is why you need a producer."
That is true.
Yeah, it is so true. Look, the running back, the quarterbacks. They started with the quarterbacks, and it's clear that they're trying to suppress these contracts, these salaries, right? Yeah. The NFL is making hand over fist, and their players are saying, "Give us our piece." And they're like, well, we don't really want to do that.
Well, yeah, and they're still paying the quarterbacks, right? Like they're not paying them what they're worth, but they're still getting their money. Running backs, on the other hand, and listen, I'm going to put this up because a lot of top running backs in the league responded to this. This is nothing against Matt Miller. Matt Miller is not a villain of any kind. He actually seems like a really good guy. He's good at his job, but he's just pointing out what it's like in the league now. Been saying it for years. Draft a running back. Play the running back. If he's good, franchise tag the running back one time and then draft a running back. Right. Basically saying don't pay him. Don't give him that second contract because running backs break down. There's a ton of talent at the position. You just don't need to pay them. And right now, running backs are on average making less than kickers in the NFL. And that's not to say the kickers don't deserve the money they get. They absolutely do. Just running backs should be getting more. They play a lot more often. They play a much bigger role in the offense. They take a lot more hits. They have much shorter careers, so they should absolutely be paying or be paid more. Yeah. Now, like I said, multiple running backs responded to what Matt Miller said. Here's Jonathan Taylor saying, if you're good enough, they'll find you. If you work hard enough, you'll succeed. If you succeed, you boost the organization, and then doesn't matter, you're a running back. Which is very true.
Very telling. Yes, very true.
Derrick Henry, that at this point, just take the running back position out the game then. The ones that want to be great and work as hard as they can to give their all to an organization just seems like it don't even matter. I'm with every running back that's fighting to get what they deserve. My guy, formerly my guy, not anymore. He's a filthy 49er, but Christian McCaffrey, responding to Dove Kleiman talking about that Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard not getting long-term deals before the deadline for franchise players to work out an extension. He says, this is criminal. 3 of the best players in the entire league, regardless of position. Going to push back on Tony Pollard on that one, but we get the point. And Austin Eckler, who's one of the best running backs, one of the best players in the league, who wanted a new contract with the LA Chargers, and they basically laughed at him and said, shut up. He says, this is the responding to Matt Miller. He said, this is the kind of trash that has artificially devalued one of the most important positions in the game. Everyone knows it's tough to win without a top running back, and yet they act like we are discardable widgets. I support any running back doing whatever it takes to get his bag.
Yeah, so the thing is, we talked about how the position's been devalued, right? Mm-hmm. And, it's becoming more of a passing league. Oh, got a donation. Salute to Marco G. Appreciate you, Marco. I'm going to read that in 1 second. In fact, I'll read it now. He says, I get running back production drops after 5 or 6 years, which is why they should get their big contracts as a rookie contract, since their prime years are their first 5 years. Yeah, I don't even think they break down after 5 years, especially nowadays, man. Like the way these athletes take care of themselves. Excuse me, I'm playing with my camera here, trying to get this right. The way these athletes take care of themselves now, they hold up for a lot longer. So I don't think 5 years is it for them.
I don't think it's it, but you do see running backs kind of start to break down earlier than other positions, and I think that's just because they get the ball a lot more than any other player. Like, what's high usage for a wide receiver? 100 catches. The record for receptions in a year is like 140 something.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry will carry the ball 350 times.
Yeah.
And you're almost guaranteed to be taking hits on every one of those carries. You're going through the D line. You got to run through the D line. You got to run through linebackers. And it gets a little easier if you're lucky to get enough to get to the third level. But you're taking hits from the biggest, strongest players on the field on a regular basis, and that's not the case for other positions.
I understand, but if you're a top, but if you're a top running back, we've seen running backs that have had long careers, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like after 5 years you can't get a guy that's still like the guy. And these running backs now, especially like you mentioned Austin Eckler, he does a lot of catching.
Yeah.
Right. So like they're used in different ways now. I just don't think like I've heard different sides to this, and a lot of people will say, hey, look, the game is changing, and it is. It's becoming more of a passing league, but running isn't extinct.
No. And
they're not going to get rid of the running game. I was watching this clip from what's his name, Marcellus Wiley, saying running backs are becoming extinct, and it's more effective to pass the ball than it is to run the ball. Not really. And teams don't believe that either, because like you said, teams still do a lot of running. Even teams that you look at and think, oh, well, they don't have a running back, they still run the ball.
Well, I think it is more effective to pass the ball. Like you're gaining more yards passing the ball than even the worst quarterbacks than running it, right? Just by the nature of the play. But it's also more risky.
It's risky, yes. Yeah.
And I think that the teams they do get sort of close to that 50-50 split. It's just the situations in which you run the ball, right? You're not running the ball necessarily to get yourself the lead, and it's not like your main weapon, right? You get the lead and you run the ball to shorten the game. You run the ball on short yardage downs so that you're not taking that risk of throwing the ball, maybe getting an interception, getting sacked, whatever it is. So I think teams look at that and they say, hey, you're not our primary means of getting the ball down the field. You're not the primary means of scoring. So we're not going to pay you as much. But even that is not the main driver of the value going down, right? And like you said, it's not running backs breaking down because they can continue to play after the first 5 years or so. It's just that what was the premier position in football, outside of quarterback for many, many, many years? It was running back. And if you couldn't play quarterback, you wanted to play running back. And the best athletes played running back.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now, where you can find very, very talented players on day 2, day 3 in the draft pretty easily. And so, the Chiefs just drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, right? Didn't pan out. And then they replaced him with Isaiah Pacheco, who they drafted in the 7th round and is a much better player. Now, that can happen at every other position as well, but you're much more likely to get a good enough player at running back in one of those later rounds than you are at quarterback, at wide receiver, at corner, or something like that. It's just easier to replace those players because there's so much talent available. And I think that's something that is going to, that's going to swing back around because everybody wants to play wide receiver now. Running backs aren't getting paid. It's a passing league. And, some teams kind of replace their run game with short passes. And, everybody wants to play that wide receiver position.
Yeah.
And, the further along we get into that, the fewer running backs that are going to be available. And their value goes up.
You said it right there, right? That's the thing. There's a lot of talent at that position, so it's easier to replace. But it doesn't mean that these teams don't value running backs because, like I said, people look at the Chiefs and say, "Oh, look who they won with Isaiah Pacheco. Who's he?" Well, I mean, look, when Pacheco, if he's as good as we think he's going to be, because we think he's going to get even better, he's going to be in a position where he's going to want a contract as well. And yeah, there'll be another player that is just as talented that'll be available to them. But like you said, 5 years down the road, especially when you hear stuff like this in the headlines, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, these are guys that are the top running backs in the league saying, hey, we're not getting paid what we're worth. That sends ripple effects. These are the best. These are the best running backs in the league saying, man, I'm not even sure if it's worth it. Saquon Barkley is just like, I might take the year off.
Yeah.
Right. Josh Jacobs, they said he was close to getting the deal done and didn't get done. He's frustrated. He hasn't signed his franchise tender either. So, like you said, when high school players are looking at this right now, what's going on? Guys in college, what does that do for the mindset? Yeah, I want to get to the league, but I want to play that position. I don't pay.
Yeah. And over in Washington, Antonio Gibson is publicly saying he wants to play more receiver, right? He wants to play in the slot because that's a skill set he believes he has. And I think that you're right. Teams do value the run game. They just don't value running backs. And, another part of that is a good chunk of the production at running back depends, almost entirely on your O-line, right? Yeah. But the problem with all of these reasons is that we're saying is they apply to other positions too, right? If you don't have an O-line, your quarterback isn't getting anything done. Your wide receivers aren't worth anything if you don't have an O-line, right? So yeah, that the O-line is important to everybody.
Yeah.
We don't. People say that the running backs don't impact winning enough. You look at analytics and the expected points added per play and those kind of things, and running backs are always, in the negative or very, very low down, right? Much lower than quarterbacks, wide receivers, and everything, passing the ball in general. But like we said on the roundup the other day, Derek Carr doesn't impact winning. Daniel Jones doesn't impact winning. There's a lot of quarterbacks around the league who don't impact winning, and they still got paid a ton of money. So it's something that they're kind of looked at as kind of the black sheep of the of the league right now, right? Like nobody wants to pay a running back. And yeah, there have been some high profile busts at running back with big contracts. You got Christian McCaffrey missed a lot of games right after he signed his deal. Even though he's still a great player.
Yeah.
No, he's still a great player, but immediately following signing that deal, he played 10 games over the next couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Right. Todd Gurley signed a big deal, and his knee just gave up on him. Right. Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott signed a big deal, and his production got worse every year. So yeah, I'm sure teams look at that, but it really is just kind of an excuse to not pay them. And contrary to what a lot of the people think, I do think they want to get rid of the running back position. I think that they want it to be. People have always said, "Oh, it's going to be 7-on-7." I was like, "No, it's not. You're dumb." But I think they want it to be that, right? They want it to be a more wide open game with just a lot more scoring.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't think we're anywhere close to that because too many coaches value running, right? As part of their game plan. Even pass happy teams that have the air raid attack like Arizona, they still want that running back because those short yardage situations, you want to go with a short thing. Or, like you said, because there's more busts at quarterback. Right? Because you invest more in a quarterback. I should say they're a bigger bust. They're a bigger bust at quarterback than there are any position because of how much attention you put in it. When your quarterback ain't it, you're relying on the run game, right? I mean, and Saquon Barkley, I mean, this is one of those cases. Who's the most valuable player on that team? It's Saquon Barkley. It ain't Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is the highest paid. I mean, of course, if I'm Saquon, I'm looking at that like this is crazy. I'm not even saying give me $40 million a year. I'm not saying pay me as much as him, but man, like make it respectable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, who are the Giants going to lean on this year? They're not leaning on Daniel Jones, even with that big contract, right? And that's why Saquon, he was on that.
I hope they lean on Daniel Jones. I would love to see that.
I mean, Ferris is in the chat. He's a Giants fan. I mean, you know how much they lean on Saquon. If he said it on the podcast, like I might just say F it. F them. I'm not playing this year. He's like, I don't want to do that, but will I? Am I willing to do it? He said, I don't know. That's the wrong thing to say. He should have said, absolutely, I'm willing to do it. Yeah. Right? When the running backs, it looks like they're coming together in solidarity and they're trying to push back on the league. You see what's going on with the Screen Actors Guild, with the writers. They're striking in Hollywood. You have to say, look, we're willing to do what they're doing, and we'll just sit out.
Yeah.
Right. That's what needs to happen. Like, don't sit there and be like, man, I don't know. Don't waffle. Don't do that because that's where they feel like they can still have control over you. If you just say, all right, well, I'm good. I'm not going to play this year. All right, tag me again next year. I don't care if it counts against my year or whatever. I don't care. I'm not playing for you this year. And let's see how far you get without me. Right. Especially them. Josh Jacobs too. Yeah. You want to lean on Jimmy G? Go right ahead. Didn't you draft my replacement? Go play him. I'll sit out. Yeah. I'm good. Right.
And we talked about the reason being an abundance of talent at running back, but even that I don't think is the actual reason. It's certainly a big part of it. I think the real reason that running backs are so devalued is the fact that the league changed the rules to promote more offense. Right. You're in a league right now. I think that none of us really believe that Mac Jones is a good player, right? Like, and he didn't have great numbers for sure. He didn't have great numbers, but he had more touchdowns and interceptions, 14-11, almost 3,000 yards. But he completed 65% of his passes, right? Mm-hmm. Another guy we look at and we know isn't very good is Jared Goff. Jared Goff completed 65% of his passes for 4,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Now, that's not telling me, oh, Jared Goff is much better than we thought. That's telling me it's way too easy to pass the ball. Yeah. And that's why teams used to lean so heavily on running backs because it was harder to pass the ball than it is now. The defense can be much more physical. They could hold, bump, and all these, the receivers and everything, and bring those completion percentages down, limit the big plays, and so it was a better idea to lean on your running back and kind of try and move the ball more consistently that way. And now there's no danger in passing the ball really. You know, you're going to complete your pass and you're going to gain more yards than you are handing the ball off, no matter what, because the league wants you to move the ball and the league wants you to score. So if we want the running backs to matter, matter again, and running backs to make more money, especially these top players, the answer is to simply allow the defense to play defense again.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe they don't do that. Maybe they get away from that. Maybe, like you said, they do try to figure out the running backs. But these running backs that are currently playing now, they should hasten that, right? They should say, all right, well, if you don't want us, you don't want us. Like, you talked about Saquon, look at Tennessee. And they just got DeAndre Hopkins. Well, it's not official yet, but it looks like he's going to be signing there. How far, who are they leaning on? Who's the most valuable player? It's still Derrick Henry, right? Even though we think Derrick Henry is slowing down, he's the guy, especially their quarterback situation. If Derrick Henry isn't playing, they don't have any real hope, right? So there are teams that still lean heavily on running backs, but and as they should, you know, talent like that, it's hard to find. But I think we're going to find out whether they're trying to phase them out or if it's just, hey, you feel like they're too replaceable right now. But in a few years, these players like Bijan Robinson, you ain't gonna see too many more of those players coming up. Like that, I mean, he looks like he's a great talent and he's gonna do well in the league, but you're not gonna get too many more of those coming up here in the future. Even if they're playing in college right now, you might have some players that you're looking at saying, oh, this running back will be great when it comes to the league. They're gonna be looking to switch positions.
No.
Right. And I don't know, man. This could be a precursor to a strike or a holdout. I mean, you and I talked about that. We weren't sure how far away the players are from that, but it's becoming painfully obvious that the league is trying to suppress their salaries, and players are starting to at least chirp a little bit more.
At every position, they're suppressing the salaries.
Yes, it's not just running back. So, I mean, this could be a precursor. We might be seeing a lockout here in the next couple of years. If I were the players union, I'd do it right now. Right as the league is they have the new deal with Apple and Amazon. You know, they got all this new money coming in. This is the time where I would say, nah, we're not gonna play.
You mean YouTube TV?
YouTube, well, Amazon too, right? Because they got the Prime Day.
No, I mean rather than Apple, YouTube got the Sunday.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was Apple. YouTube. Oh, yes, YouTube. So this is the time to do it when they're expecting that kind of money coming in because business is good. I can't remember where I read it, but the league is trying to their target by 2027, I believe. I could be making this number up, but I know in the near future, their goal is for every team to be generating $1 billion a year. Right. That's their goal. So while everything is going well, this is the time to throw a wrench in that gear and say, no, pay us.
Yeah.
Right. You got to do it when you have some leverage, and right now you have some leverage. Okay. And look, we're football fans. We don't want to see. We don't want to go without our football, but look, play so you get paid. Yeah.
I got a lot of dungeon run to catch up on.
Listen. We love football, but you will find something to fill your time in. It's not the end of the world, and this will make it better. Okay, you want players that are taken care of, that are fully focused on playing football. Because, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you feel good about this year without Saquon? If you're a Titans, even though you just got D-Hop, do you feel good about this year without Derrick Henry? I mean, and Derrick Henry's not talking about not playing, but I'm just saying, if he didn't play, would you feel good about this year?
Right.
No, you wouldn't. Right. You wouldn't care who the quarterback was. Right. But you care about that running back. All right. Speaking of quarterback, B.
Yes. Speaking of someone who has lots of leverage and someone who doesn't.
Matt Corral. Did you see what I put in the on the list? Matt Corral.
I have it. It's in the banners. Go ahead and put that up there.
Oh, okay. Yes, Matt Corral to start in preseason. I just read that earlier today. We didn't discuss this beforehand. Our pre-production meeting.
This came in a little while ago, and I just pulled it up. Thank you, Tracy, for the donations. I appreciate both of you and your content the best.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Okay, look, before we get into this next segment, all right, let's take this section is sponsored by ourselves. Okay. Get some merch here. Get some merch. Okay. I'm gonna plug this real quick. All right. LBHTShow.com/shop is where you can get some of our merch. Okay. We're gonna put a couple more pieces on the shop here pretty soon. So go take a look, and is it something that you like? Go ahead and support the show. Also go to LBHTShow.com and sign up for our newsletter. All right. Okay. Coach is here. B. What's going on, Coach? Let me take this off your face there. What's going on, Coach?
Not much.
I'll take that. All right, Coach. So you came in just in time for us. Well, okay. Before we start that, you have any thoughts on this running back situation?
Oh yeah, I do. I ain't as supportive as you guys are.
Okay.
I feel different.
You said it can go. Okay, let's hear this.
So my thing is, when in any job, when you get an influx of good players, their value goes down. Mm-hmm. And if I get, at the running back position, there are a bunch of good players. And just like we praise the wide receivers now, the market, the value is going to go down.
Right.
Because, and y'all mentioned 7-on-7, because of 7-on-7, the value and the cost of receivers, it's going to go down. Because these kids play catching 7-on-7 year round, and in the next 4 to 5 years, the value of the receiver is going to go down because there are going to be so many good wide receivers. Just like you can get a good running back in round 5, 6, 7. Come here in the next 5 to 6 years, you're going to be able to get multiple good receivers at round 5, 6, and 7. Then the cost of receivers is going to go down. It's a cycle.
Well, I think it's already down. Like if we're really looking at it, you got your top guys like Tyreek and Devontae got those massive deals, right? Mm-hmm. But like I said, this offseason, outside of Odell, who was on a historic pace to start his career, and DeAndre has been a top receiver for the entirety of his career. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nobody else a wide receiver got paid.
No, I mean these guys that's in these drafts. That's what I mean. Like wait till those guys this just getting drafted. Wait till they get in year 3, 4, 5, and they get a cycle in. Those guys that's been playing 7-on-7 since age 6, age 7, age 8. Wait till they get, till those kids start cycling through, and you're gonna have, it's gonna be the NFL gonna be flooded with receivers.
I think it's gonna be even worse. It's already starting now. Is what I'm saying.
But then wait till you get a cycle of kids like Gibbs, the Gibbs kid. That Detroit just drafted.
Yeah,
I've been looking at some stuff on him, and man, that he's a good running back, but he's a darn good slot receiver too. Mm-hmm. So you about to like y'all just mentioned, a bunch of these college running backs gonna start playing slot receiver.
Right.
Anyway, look, coach, I ain't with this running back stuff.
Yeah.
Then the coach gonna be like, "Well, no, you're a running back. They're gonna transfer."
But and I think I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, the analogy you use, yes, any position, if you get an influx of talent, it devalues, but the exceptional ones still get paid more, right? Even if we're all cashiers, right? Cashiers don't make that much money, but if a bunch of all the other cashiers are messing up the count, they're slow, and we're just moving fast. Everything's accurate. Our register always comes up, on point. And they keep leaning on us. They're like, "Hey, look, man, look, Jose, Coach B, Black Friday coming up. We need them. We gonna have to give them some overtime. We're gonna have to really use them. Yeah, at some point, you're gonna say, look, you're leaning on us too much. Pay us because we have more value than them. You rely on us more than them. If we aren't here, what's that gonna do for you? Yeah, you can probably go and find somebody to replace us, but are they gonna be as good? How long before they get trained up, right? You're taking a risk there. Just pay us, right? Because there's always a cost in turnover, right?
True.
You can go find somebody, that's cheaper, but by the time they get trained up to where you're at, you spent a whole lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's not just a running back position. Like they're trying to do it for all positions. I mean, we just saw what happened with Lamar. Lamar didn't get paid what he was worth.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree. I agree. Like, yes, positions get devalued and goes in waves for sure. But what the league's trying to do is suppress everybody's salary.
And that's kind of
what they're trying to make money. Go ahead, be my bad.
Yeah.
No. But that's kind of my problem with there's a lot of talent coming in and that devalues it. And that's absolutely true if it were happening naturally. But like I said, I don't think that it is. The league is manipulating it to where, they change the rules on the offense. You're not allowed to play defense the way you used to be able to play defense, which is much more physical defense. Now, that's true in every sport, right? You get rid of the goons and the game gets more skilled, gets a little more wide open. There's more scoring, but basketball is not a contact sport, right? Like the other sports aren't contact sports, and football is. That's what defense is. It's running and hitting, right? And you say, hey, you can't run and hit no more. There's a lot better running backs and there's a lot better wide receivers out there, right? And so you don't have to pay them as much. And in turn, you don't have to pay the defenders because, well, I mean, you're not really affecting the game like that position used to. You're not stopping these offenses the way guys used to out there, so you're not going to get that money either. So I think it's artificial, the way they're doing it. Like we've been saying, they're trying to hold down those salaries. And if you go back and you say, hey, you know what, we're going to turn back the clock on some of these rule changes, and it's going to be much harder to pass the ball than it's been for the last 10, 15, 20 years, all of a sudden you're going to see that a lot of these guys aren't as talented as we think, or as they look.
My thing is that if you're going to make all these rule changes based for the offense and give them, make it where they can't be as physical as they need to be on defense, give them an extra guy. You got all these rules for you can't do this to the quarterback, you can't touch, and all these different things that take the physicality out, which what defense was. Give them an extra player,
like 12 on 11.
But coach, wouldn't that result in fewer points? That's not what we're trying to do here.
I know. I'm just threw it out. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, they're taking tools away from the defense and giving tools to the offense, and they're trying to make it an unbalanced game. And I mean, they have, right?
Yeah. So all right. Well, I got your take. Why are you here, Coach? Because I've been sipping on this. Got my
earlier. I shouted you out earlier.
Where can people get this? Because this is only the hottest chalice in the game.
The finest of the fine.
The finest of the finest.
So you can get that if you join my Patreon. It's patreon.com/sip-the-tally, and you join the Gunslinger member, and you'll have one of those not immediately sent to you, but sent to you.
It'll get there.
It'll get there. And I gotta say this. I hate to be this guy, but people try to finesse, but it's hard to finesse a street.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say this on y'all channel.
Street dude.
No. It's hard to finesse a street.
Yes.
Because I wasn't always no teacher. And so it's set up in a way to, and I know who I can trust and who I can't trust. And if I can't trust you, I just get a gut feeling. And I handle it the right way. And so far my gut has been right. My gut has been right. So again, and I ain't about trying to get over on nobody, but I ain't the one to be got over on either. But it has worked out like the right way. I hadn't gotten over on nobody, and I hadn't letting anybody got over on me. So it has thankfully worked itself out.
Just support your boy. Get yourself a child, because look, we're gonna be toasting a lot.
Most
Ravens and Panthers wins. B.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you get out before you get the challenge, you're getting over on yourself. Nobody else.
Facts.
Is that my sound? Oh, that's your sound. Oh. Hold on.
All right. That's all right, because this is perfect time in Street Melanin's bot. Get your Roundup meet and greet tickets right there. All right. If you haven't gotten them yet, click on that link. All right. The $50 a ticket. That covers everything. Food, drinks. It doesn't cover your alcoholic drinks, but there'll be a cash bar available for that. But music, we're sending you home with a goodie bag. We're giving away prizes. So you don't want to miss it. Going down August 4th. All right. All right. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, coach. That was perfect timing. All right. Before we get to your list, in fact, no, while you're here, because I don't want to hold you up. We'll do the Matt Corral one later.
Okay.
Okay. So we finished last week at 16, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we gotta go 15 through 9. We did 9 today.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. For those of you who don't know, real quick, Coach is doing a daily power rankings for all 32 NFL teams, one team per day for 31 days, because you're doing 2 days, or you're doing 2 teams, number 1 and number 2 on the same day.
Right. That's Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. All right. So what we're doing is recapping what he's unveiled up to this point. So let's okay. We'll start with number 16. That's where we left off. Or no, 15. 15 is the next one up.
15 was one of the surprises. The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh my God. This is a team I thought was going to be 31 or 32.
A lot of people did. 15, and I had the Falcons at 15, mainly because of what they did defense.
Salute, Anonymous. Let's give me 1 second. He says, greetings, everyone. Have a most excellent show. Thank you, Anonymous. Appreciate that donation.
Thank you.
I had them as the worst quarterback room, which kind of was on par with them getting rid of Mariota and starting Desmond Ritter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't love Taylor Haney.
No. But then I also had them as the best running back room.
With Bijan,
yeah.
So
Bijan was the only rookie I gave any merit to.
Yeah, but they got a couple of 1,000-yard guys in that room too, and Cordell and Algier.
And then defensively, they got they picked up Calais. They got their safety from Cincinnati, and they're solid. I got their O lines pretty good. Their tight end room I like with Pitts and their backup. And so they ended up, when I averaged it all out, they were 15. They're solid, but their quarterback could derail them. And again, this is one of those things where I will make adjustments next year and give the quarterback position a little more volume, because if I give the quarterback room a little bit more merit, they probably won't be 15.
So, but this is interesting because this is one of those teams, right, where if they end up getting a quarterback after this year, they can be one of the teams that seemingly comes out of nowhere. Like, well, how did it get so good?
Y'all just writing Desmond Ritter off, all the way off.
Yeah, I am. I think.
I mean, listen, I didn't like Desmond Ritter coming out either. Man, damn. But no, I think I'm not that surprised. I mean, a little surprised to see him at 15. But they were a 7-win team last year, and like I said, they did a lot on the defense to get better. Bijan, and you would expect Kyle Pitts to be better or better used than he was this past season. I think Drake London is going to be a star.
I do too. I do too, B.
I think they got a lot of pieces, and when Desmond Ritter turns it around, they're gonna be finishing second in the NFC South.
It's crazy, and they just got to exist in them 3 seconds to hand the ball off.
Facts.
And they run outside zone like nobody's mom, left and right. And if you don't, and their O line is beautiful to watch them run outside zone. And you add Bijan to that mix, and if they can do anything to get Drake London and Kyle Pitts the ball off of outside zone, they should do enough to have long drives and keep their defense rested. Now they're not gonna score a lot of points, but I think they can win games 23 to 20 in that division. Now I don't know if they can stop explosive plays, and I think that's what Carolina got the chance to do, have explosive plays.
Yeah,
a couple teams that right?
and got to get a chance to have. I don't know if they can stop explosive plays, but they can hold the ball. They can hold the ball. They can, like, you never play Madden and you play against somebody like the story y'all told where your dad or whatever.
Yes,
the ball the Falcons can do that.
Quarter long drives.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Worst year Madden ever. All right, number 14.
14, the Chargers. And this one shocked people because I had their D-line edge group as second to last, even with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Because they're older.
Yeah.
They're hurt a lot, even though Mack played a bunch of games last year, but they're traditionally hurt. They just haven't. That combination, when you think about it, they should be pushing 20 sacks a year. And not both of them pushing 20 sacks, but at least out of the two, 20 sacks. Then they don't come close to it.
I would think at a minimum 20 out of those two guys, if you're thinking about them at their height, right? But yeah, like the injuries take the toll, and there's something about the Chargers, man. Like you guys change that name, change the uniform, maybe move again. Like you got to get out from under that curse.
Send them to Mexico City.
I mean, that's interesting. So I don't disagree with how you ranked them. Like, I think those guys, I don't think they're washed. I think they're still talented. But look, man, like, this is a power ranking, and you have to show something, and they haven't shown anything in a couple of years, right? Injuries and just low production. Could they turn it around this year? I wouldn't be surprised. But we had, if you're grading them, you got to grade them based off of what they've done, and they haven't done much.
Right. Yeah. Their highest position I have for them is quarterback. I have their quarterback 7th. And, Herbert's talented. He hasn't done nothing in prime time. Case in point, that huge league, Asante Samuel got them. And he got them that lead pretty much by himself.
Right. And
they still blew it.
That was amazing because they got that huge lead and they didn't turn the ball over.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was amazing to watch. Like,
and it's really weird because, you watch Justin Herbert, and what do you see from Justin Herbert? You see him converting every 4th down, right? Like when they're in the regular season on those primetime games, and then when they need the wins, everything goes wrong.
Yeah,
and this is don't get me started with him, especially with the rankings that came out today. Don't even get me started. That's crazy. And the worst one was their second to last with their defensive line, and their guys up the middle are trash too. So that's where I am with them. 13.
The
4x1 relay team that we know as the Miami Dolphins.
They have some burners. Yeah.
I didn't know that boy changed his name. I saw on
Chosen.
Twitter. Yeah. I was like,
Chosen Robbie Anderson. Yeah.
So it was like Robbie Chosen, like, who was number 3?
Like it didn't really change it so much as just added on a little bit.
Right. Like Robbie Chosen. This must be somebody they drafted. Who's this dude?
Named himself after Cam's kid.
But they had 2 top 5s on their team for me. I had them number 3 at wide receiver, and I had them number 3 at cornerback.
Okay.
Obviously with
Jalen
and Tyreek. I didn't even count Chosen. Sound like something off of what's the movie with Eddie Murphy when he went to Tibet? The Chosen was not the Chosen. Golden Child. Yeah. I want the knife, please. And then with adding Jalen Ramsey to was not Xavier? Is Xavier Howard?
I forgot.
Yep, Xavier Howard.
Yeah. So I got them as the 3rd best cornerback.
Yeah,
their worst position. I got them at tight end because they got rid of my dog that did the skedaddle.
Who, Giuseppe?
Yeah, they got rid of Giuseppe.
What?
He's in New England.
They're not just taking no more. and I ain't put very many little gifts or whatever in my thing, but I went and found the skedaddle and added it on. So if you have not seen episode, was that 13? You go back and watch it. I put Gesicki doing the skedaddle in that episode. So I used to I would watch Dolphins highlights. Well, I not necessarily watch their highlights, but I would go to ESPN or whatever NFL and see if he scored. Yeah. And I go to YouTube and find that game just to see him do that. That was funny to me.
So where are they weak at? Because quarterback, corners,
Dolphins,
wide receivers,
running back.
Because
their starter stays hurt, which is what's the fast dude?
Matt Breida.
Mostert.
Yeah.
Mostert.
Oh, right. Mostert. Oh, yeah.
Mostert.
Yeah.
They got A-Chain from Texas A&M, but he a rookie. Again, we ain't putting stocks in rookies. Where else I got them weak at? Tight end.
Yeah.
Tight end is that weak spot for me. And then running back, I got him 26. Tight end, I got him 28.
Okay. But that right there is how you know it's an agenda too, because you got Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds and the rookie, and you're telling Dalvin Cook no, thank you. Essentially, right?
Yeah, I forgot Dalvin Cook's still out there.
Like, and you're a team that you're supposed to be competing for a Super Bowl. You think, right? That's why you went and got Tyreek. You know, that's why you got that offensive minded head coach. You got the quarterback back there. You brought in Jalen Ramsey. You're like, it's time to go. And he said, Dalvin, you want to make more than our kicker? Nah,
no thanks.
We good. It's crazy.
You know, some of these teams, man, they're gonna get desperate as the season goes on.
Most definitely.
And they're like, all right, come on in. We need your help.
Yep.
But this is where the running backs need to say
no.
no.
I'm just chilling.
Yeah, this is where the running backs need to put their foot down. Like, if anybody calls Zeke, anybody calls Devin, that's when they need to be like, nah, we're good. We're chilling this year. Mm-hmm. Go struggle. You know?
Yeah. If I'm Devin, I'm sitting around to like week 7, 8, see who 6-2, 7-1.
Yeah.
Maybe struggling a little bit in the run game. All right, then I'll pick up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, 12.
12. Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. I believe in Justin.
Yeah. Me too.
I believe in Justin. I think Justin is going to have a monster. Even though I didn't rank him high, I got their quarterback room ranked 12th, but I do believe in Justin. I was happy to see this when I put him in order. But for the Bears, I have their best room is their linebacker room. I have their linebacker room ranked 3rd. They got the good linebacker from the Eagles. They got a good linebacker from the Bears. They got Edmonds and Edwards.
Edwards, yeah.
Edmonds and Edwards. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got them ranked 3rd. I also have their safety room ranked 5th. They also had two top 5 rooms. They got boy from Alabama. I forget his name.
Eddie
Jackson.
Yeah.
And they got a young Brisker.
Yeah.
Where they're weak at, I got their D-line edge group and running back. Running back, I got them second to last. And D-line edge, I got them 29th.
You think they should have hung on to David Montgomery?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. They would have gave him a veteran presence and a guy that they can kind of depend on. Because right now they're almost in the situation where their best running back is their quarterback, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like, I hate to kind of say that because like Deonta Foreman, I thought very highly of him coming into the league, and he's done pretty well the last couple of years, right? But it's like kind of been half seasons, and he hasn't really put it all together for a whole year, and I'm not sure I'm trying to sure he can.
Right. Well, he was with you guys last year, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Next up, 11, the New York Jets. Now, let me tell you a little story about this Jets one. So obviously, I've been doing them ahead of when they come out.
Yeah.
And so maybe 4 or 5 days when I put this up, I had a comment and I saw it on my phone, and it was about the Jets. And I answered it, because I didn't know what video was on. I just answered it because it was on there. And so a couple days, maybe the day this came out, I pulled it up on my computer and it was up on the Jets. And it was about the Jets. And I'm like, how this son gonna know this was about the Jets? So I went and looked at the file name. I'm like, well, the file name don't have Jets in it. I was like, how this random person knew it was about the Jets? So I was about to go unlist every video I had up. And my wife was like, well, maybe it was just a coincidence. And I just left them up. But I was puzzled that this person put this comment about the Jets under the Jets video.
But you know what, man?
I was about to take everything down.
That's what Jets fans do. Jets fans, Jets fans, it's got to be about Jets all the time. I got a friend that's a Jets fan. I post some clips on Instagram. If he sees it, he gonna make it about the Jets. It had nothing to do with the Jets, but he'll make it about the Jets. Okay, that's just Jets being Jets.
Gotcha. So again, they're the 11th. I had them at 11, and their best position was the cornerback. Obviously, mainly because of Sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce is that deal. And again, I said it on that episode. I won't use his real first name anymore because he proved me. I ain't gonna say wrong because I knew he was good, but I didn't know that Sun Gun was gonna be that good.
Yeah.
I did not. Even when they played us early in the year and he was doing what he was doing versus us, I still was kind of like, nah, he ain't gonna be that good. And he just kept doing it. We got the week. We got the week. We got the week. Now he didn't have the interceptions that Tyreek Woolen had.
No.
But between him and Reed, them Sun Guns had 36 or 37 pass deflections. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And then that worst position, I had them. They had 3 20s though. I had 20 at wide receiver because other than Garrett Wilson, they got some maybes.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of maybes. Mm-hmm. Tight end, I had them at 20. Then at safety room, I had them at 20. Got some old guys. They got Adrian Amos and I can't think of the other guy. And they got Ashton Davis on the bench. So they got some maybes at what you call. Oh, at O-line at 20 because they had a bunch of injuries last year. And I think a Jets fan kind of went. I ain't gonna say we went back and forth, but I knew they had some injuries. I didn't know how many. He said they had 8 tackles. They had 8 guys to play tackle last year because of injuries, which is part of why they were so inconsistent.
Right.
So,
but Mekhi Becton doesn't look like he wants to play football though.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, top 10. Number 10. Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks. Best position for the Seahawks. They had 2 top 10s also. Let me see. Make sure I got this right. Old eyes. Yeah, they had 2 top 10s. Coming in at number 5, their wide receivers. DK, Lockett.
Yeah.
They added JSN, but we ain't really giving them that. But DK and Lockett, they certified.
Yeah.
And then at safety, I had them as the number 2 safety group with Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs.
Okay.
Weak spot for the Seahawks was the defensive line edge group. The only really guy I really liked up front for them was, I think it's Unwosu. I think that's how you say his name.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
But
where's Megan at? Megan's in the chat.
She left. She left. She said she had to go moderate for something they was doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she missed it. All right, Megan, when you watch the replay, Seahawks are number 10. Okay, they made the top 10.
But I really like their linebacker group with Bobby coming back because Jordan Brooks. I think it's Jordan Brooks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he held his own and came into his own while Bobby was gone. And you add Bobby back to what he was doing, I think they're gonna be legit. So them guys in front, all they need to do is just hold their blocks because Bobby and Jordan will eat. And I really love what Geno did last year. And if he can build on that, because they got pieces, they're running back, they got receivers, they got tight ends. Geno has no excuses, in my opinion. Geno's in the same boat with Lamar. He ain't got no excuses. He got weapons. He just need to make it work.
And he got his money. I'm so happy for Geno.
Yeah.
All right. And today's episode, number 9.
The Browns.
That's
Browns
the scariest number 9. I mean, if you're a fan of the Browns, that's a scary number 9 right there, because we all know what this is hinging on.
Yeah, but they quarterback.
Yeah,
their quarterback. They only had 1 top 10 though, but they 1 top 10 can lead them to the promised land, and that's O-line. I think they got the second best O-line.
Yeah, you really hate them backup running backs, huh?
Who is their backup running backs?
I don't even know. Because Dearness Johnson isn't there anymore, is he? He's gone, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Did he go to San Francisco?
I think he went somewhere.
I mean, I'd be making stuff up. I don't know.
but I know. I'm just saying it's tough to have Nick Chubb and fall out the top 10 and running back.
Oh, they're 10. They're 10.
Okay.
They're 10. I couldn't take them out of 10 because of Chubb.
Yeah.
But it's Nick Chubb and us 3.
Yeah.
you ain't seen my moves, coach. You don't know.
It's just because I couldn't take him out because of Chubb, because Chubb is like a lot of ranks came out and had Chubb 1. I don't know if Chubb is 1.
He's so good.
I just checked on the sleeper app. They don't even list the backup running backs there.
For the Browns, right?
They say it's Nick Chubb. Keep it moving.
Yeah. He can come off the field. All right. Yeah. Look,
hold on. They worst position I got is wide receiver.
Because all the it's just a lot of questions there.
And people gonna say they got Elijah Mitchell, not Elijah,
Amari Cooper,
Elijah Moore.
But they do have they got Amari Cooper. But if you go back and look at Elijah Moore's stats, you'll see why. And that's he was healthy all last year. Go look at his numbers.
Utilized. He was upset.
I know, but still, his numbers are his numbers.
Yeah.
Where'd you have him right?
I don't really buy it.
The wide receivers.
21.
Yeah,
22.
Because you got Elijah Moore hasn't really proven himself.
Right.
People think he's got talent, but he hasn't proven it. And then you got
they do have Amari Cooper. That's
Tillman, who's a rookie, and they got David Bell in the
Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
They certainly do. They certainly do. And
I like him. I think so.
They're ranked 22nd.
Yeah.
No, he's okay. I don't think that. I think you're not real happy if he's your number 2.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
I'll tell you like this: if I was the Browns, if I was Deshaun Watson, my second most targeted guy would be David Njoku.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
But see,
big year incoming.
This is what I'm talking about, right? These teams aren't serious about winning because they're a team you have them ranked 9th, and that's a weak spot that they could have fixed. Still fixed because he hasn't signed yet, but you could have gotten DeAndre Hopkins there, right? That's an area where you need to improve at, and you can bring in Hopkins. We talked about Miami. They have a need at running back. Bring in Dalvin Cook, right? Like these teams that are, in theory, close or trying to compete for a Super Bowl aren't doing what they need to do to win. And look, it ain't like Dalvin Cook is asking for $20 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like D Hop is asking for $30 million a year or anything like that. Like, pay them what they're worth and get that last piece that you need, or one of the pieces that you need, so you can really compete. Because, look, somebody's gonna win, right? But if you're a team that's always been on the outside looking in, you have to do extra, right? Like you're not gonna luck up and make it to a Super Bowl over the Chiefs, Like if you're Miami, like, let's just be real about it. Like they look really good in the regular season, and then they get to the playoffs and you see their deficiencies, right? And those are things that they can show up now. The Browns, we know what it is with the Browns. The Browns, I mean, especially the Browns, coach. Think about it. You've come this far. You did whatever it took to get Deshaun Watson, and now you get a little antsy about getting a wide receiver. Right. Why? You're supposed to be all in. Go all in.
Most teams are not actively trying to win.
Right.
Deshaun Watson sells tickets. Wide receivers don't.
Well, and I will say this: like you mentioned the Chiefs. If you didn't know, everybody in America knows now they have a legit leader. If you thought he was a pretty boy, and don't my fingernails. No, they got a certified dog as a leader. If you didn't know, you know now.
Yep.
And I already kind of liked him, because of how he plays the game, and But behind Lamar and Odell, that's my guy now. It's my number 3 guy. And I liked Odell before Lamar even came into the league, so that's a different story. But seeing that Netflix show behind Lamar Odell, Pat's my guy because of the way he carries himself on that field.
Look, I told you, once I heard his dad talk, I knew.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Smoking that Joe Burrow.
Coach, let everybody know where they can find the rest of the top 10, because tomorrow is number 8. Okay. And then we're going all the way up to number 1. Let everybody know where they can watch the rest of these videos.
On More Sip the Tally, where we're for the streets. So go over there to More Sip the Tally. And what's going to happen over there for the rest of the week? Tomorrow you'll have 8. The rest of the week you'll get all the way to next Wednesday. We'll have 2 and 1. So what we'll do is next Wednesday at 6, you'll have number 2. Then at 6:15, you'll have number 1. And then come back here at 7:15 on Wednesday, and we'll discuss the entire sheet. And I'll send Brodny a copy of this sheet, and he'll be able to flash it on the screen, and we can talk about the entire sheet. And once you get it, all the teams that have 1 through 5 will have a little yellow highlight, and that's basically if you have a position group that's 1 through 5 and you can kind of see that, and we'll go from there. We can talk about it, ask questions, and you can see if I'm crazy and whatnot, and go from there.
All right, and plug your other channel, Sip to Tally, where that's for the Ravens content.
That's the regular content. Where actually, what's going on over there is what's about to fire back up is film, then more film. That's the motto. Film, then more film. Because I think the rookies come today or yesterday?
They came yesterday. Yeah, I think they practiced today. I haven't heard anything about today, but yeah.
We'll start getting butts in grass, and when I get some film, we'll start getting some film. I'm gonna dig into the crates and start pulling some stuff up soon too. And so we'll give you guys something to watch and ponder and stuff like that. I just need a day or two to reset from the journey, because that's what it was. This power rankings was a journey.
Yeah,
it just was a journey. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was a journey.
And why was it though?
Huh?
Yes.
Well, yeah, definitely. When I finished the number one, I think about two. When I text y'all that I finished, I think I put it on Twitter like 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever.
Yeah,
it was like a monkey coming off my back.
Felt good.
It did. It did.
That's some great work.
I look forward to adjusting and doing it again next year, but planning it, planning my days out better.
Yeah. I look forward to Sam Howell being much higher on your list next year.
If he's even in the league.
Damn.
No, I'm just messing with you. Sam Howell holds a special place for me personally because he threw a bunch of touchdowns to a player that's dear to me, who is the all-time leading tight end touchdown receiver at North Carolina, who still has another year. And he's been blessed because he had Sam Howell throwing to him, and now he has Drake May throwing to him. So he's been blessed to have good quarterbacks his entire career at the University of North Carolina.
That's what's up. All right, Coach. Anything else you want to plug? Where can I find you on Twitter? And
Coach Evans 9 on Twitter. Sip to Tally Films on Instagram, TikTok, and what other social media thing out there?
You said Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. That's everything. I think you got it covered.
That's it. I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Coach. And we'll see you on Monday.
Most deaf. Peace.
All right. Peace. Yes. Coach Evans, man, look, the best power rankings out there, hands down. Like, you're not gonna find anything better than that.
Yeah,
easily. All right. We're gonna get to our Panther segment because we gotta talk about Matt Corral. All right. But first, listen, I know some of you guys are new. If you're new, hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. But you see donations pop up on the screen. You're wondering, how do you do that? You're like, hey, you guys are supposed to be monetized. Where's your super chat? Oh, right there, right on time. From Samuel Howell, in fact. Thank you, Sam Howell. He says, I hope that I can keep my job this season. The water boy. Oh, that's mean. Wow. That's Sam Howell. Believe in yourself, Sam. Believe in yourself. If you're looking to do that, there are two ways that we do super chat over here. One is right below B, $ LBHT Show. That is the Cash App. The other way is that pin link that you see in the comments. That will take you to our stream elements. Both ways, you leave a donation, leave your comment, and Microphone Man will salute you. All right. Okay. Matt Corral, B. He's got a shot. A lot of scouts were high on Matt Corral. We thought maybe at one point when they drafted him that he's going to get a look, and then he got hurt, and then they said, nah, never mind. We like Baker or whoever, right? Yeah. But now, they're saying he's going to start in preseason. Is he? I mean, he's not going to be in the mix. I don't need to ask that question because you traded up to number one, and you drafted your guy number one, Bryce Young. He's your quarterback. So no, I don't think there's any real competition. But this is a chance for Corral to put something on tape and show you what he's got, right? Do you think that turns into? I mean, can he win the backup job?
The backup's Andy Dalton. So no, I mean, I don't think they'll win the backup job. Okay, because as much as we kind of put down Andy Dalton has a lot of starting experience, a lot of good starting experience, and he's not like the worst guy out there or anything like that. He's just very uninspiring. Matt Corral's not a better quarterback than Andy Dalton, and people being high on Matt Corral was more a function of that being a really weak quarterback class. And you kind of looked at him and you said, "Oh, there's a couple things here, and maybe he can kind of get over some of the flaws in his game and turn into something." But it was likely never going to happen. And like I said, the injury really put an end to any of that. I don't think he should be starting in preseason. I think that's kind of ridiculous. You have a rookie that you drafted number 1 overall who needs
the reps. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't play. He should absolutely play. He should get to play a lot in preseason, but he shouldn't be out there with the starters. That's Bryce Young's team. He should be getting all of those reps. And then, Matt Corral can put something on tape in the second half of games, when the starters come out. It's tough to say. He's young. There were a couple of things there that you kind of like in his college tape, and I think he needs time on the field to get over the issues that he had, and he hasn't had that in Carolina. We'll see what kind of progress he's made, just over the course of the season, because obviously he hasn't been able to play being hurt, but just like maybe the mental part of it, making better decisions and things like. But he had a little bit of the Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston bug, where it was everything's going fine, and then I closed my eyes and panic and threw an interception.
Yeah.
And he also had a little bit of the Baker Mayfield gene, which was, I see that guy running at me, but I'm Usain Bolt. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. So, he had some things to get over. Hopefully he's been able to work through some of that. But he's going to have to just catch on somewhere, probably on a practice squad and try and keep working at it, I think. I don't think he's going to, get signed onto a roster off of the preseason tape.
All right, let me read these donations because Samuel Howell and Samuel Howell's arm has something to say. Sam Howell says, his arm says, "My days are numbered." Wow. Wow. And Samuel Howell came back and says, "I hate Rowboat Ron." Oh, okay. Wow. It's like that. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. I mean, I don't think, man, maybe we shouldn't have read that because, Mom might be watching this, and maybe he's the next one when they're asking him what's wrong with the team. And he says, quarterback. And he's looking at Sam. All right. Look, Sam, you're fighting for
it was so much like Captain Phillips, that interview. He said, look at me. Quarterback. And then he just held his gaze for a while. He's like, "You understand what I'm saying to you?" Look, Carson Wentz.
Look, Matt Corral. It's hard to say. And yes, I don't like that he's taking starter reps because you only have 3 preseason games now, right? And he's not competing for the job. No. Let him go out there. I mean, he's still going to be playing. He can play a big chunk of preseason.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to play with the starters to put something on tape, like you said. And even if he wants to compete for the backup role, right?
Which I don't really think he is either.
I don't either. All right. And I know he has said something about he doesn't want to get traded because that was kind of the rumor that they're trying to put something on tape so they can trade him. And he's saying that he wants to stay in Carolina. Listen, just go out there and play the best that you can. But
that's not what he was saying earlier in the offseason. He must have got some bad reports from his agent.
Yeah. Like, your next stop is XFL.
You a big fan of The Rock?
I love The Rock. Oh, wait.
You want to meet him?
Wait, why are you asking? Okay, let's do some submitted questions. There's another topic. Nah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But we're gonna do some submitted questions. But first, right below B, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. And there's Golden Corral with another donation. I'm gonna read that in a second, Golden Corral. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's where you can support the show more. That's where you can find the Overtime Show. And what are we discussing on the Overtime Show? Oh, look at that. The Flash is sitting there saying, he's looking up and saying, Green Lantern? Green Lantern did better than me? What? How? And Stephen A. Smith is shocked. He's just like, yo, when I clap at people and they clap back, I don't like it. Okay. Stephen A. Smith is beefing with somebody. Okay. They had a war of words on their shows and podcasts or whatever. And we're going to discuss that on the Overtime Show. All right. Patreon.com/LBHT Show for as little as $5. Do you have $5 in your pocket? You do? I know you do. I know you do. Go ahead and sign up. All right. Okay. Submitted questions. Now, submitted questions, that will get you some points. If we read your question on air, we give you, how many points do we give you?
200 points for submitting the question. And I just want to say that it is very tight at the top of the loyalty points race as of July 19th. It's anybody's game. Yeah.
Agent E said, did they cancel Stephen A? No, Stephen A is not canceled. You know, Stephen A is very careful what he says. But, you know, he got called out a little bit and he got his feelings hurt. So we'll discuss it. Don't worry, Agent E. That's going to be on the Overtime Show. Okay, that's some other stuff. All right. So, all right, submitted questions. You can post. You can send us. You can DM us. You can go on our community tab. You can tweet at us. There's all kinds of ways to submit your questions.
Just up in the Discord.
Discord.
We're doing one question. It's a fairly involved question, I would think.
Okay.
From our guy Jeremy. Thank you.
Jeremy's on top of it. Look, Jeremy knows how to get those points. Yes. All right. He makes sure he submits his question first every week.
How do you think AI will impact sports in the future?
I hate to say it, man. Look, we might be watching robots in the future. Well, I'm sorry, not in the future now, because you and I are big fans of BattleBots.
Absolutely. Phenomenal stuff.
I love that show. And at some point they're gonna put AI in those things, right?
Yeah. And look, yeah, it's not we might be watching robots. We're definitely going to be watching robots playing all professional sports in the future because you don't have to pay robots. But in the short term, you know, I was listening to a podcast. I believe it was on We Have Concerns. Shout out to them, fantastic science show. But they were talking about a possible use for AI being predicting the outcome of plays of live games. So, like, you know, couple seconds left in a basketball game, they inbound the ball, guy shoots a three, and based off of the trajectory and velocity, your TV tells you whether that shot's going in or not before it goes in. And to that, I say, that's super garbage. Don't want any of that. What is that providing me? Like, I'm gonna know. It's like when Jason La Canfora and them.
That's Woj on steroids.
Yeah, tip picks. You know, 5 seconds before I'm going to hear it anyway.
That's like you know when you're on the court and you shoot the ball, somebody says miss.
Yeah,
but it said the AI will be right.
I'm always right when I say that because I only say that for my own shots. I know that's not going in, but that's one possible thing. But I'm sorry to catch you out there, but the real advancement that I think we're going to see is like you're going to see AI basically take over coaching in terms of
just want to say that. I was just about to say that coaches are going to be in a little bit of trouble here.
You'll always have the coaches out there motivating and, you know, running drills and whatnot. But, you know, if you can have your AI look at the entire history of the other team's offensive coordinators, play calling tendencies, and it takes it 2 minutes to go through that and develop a game plan, why do you have an offensive coordinator at that point?
So I'll say this. I think you'll see more AI in basketball because basketball is a little bit more forward thinking. I mean, they're heavy into analytics now, so absolutely they're going to use AI, you know, to help run their plays and things like that. You know, situational plays and all that, right? Who should get the ball? They're going to use that heavy, I think, in the future. Football, you know, these guys are too traditional, so it's going to be slower for that. They still reject analytics. You know, but it'll be a while before that shifts over to the NFL. A couple of coaches will use it, like Bill Belichick. right? But it will get there eventually, but they'll be slower. In baseball, they might go the opposite way. They're like, hey, you know what? We don't even like these digital screens. Can you just take these off, please? Right?
No,
Like they want to stay. They want to stay in 1920.
Baseball is big time into analytics. Like that's their thing, and it's because they're very boring. But all NFL teams use analytics. They all have analytics departments. But the head coaches and everybody, they're very conservative. Some of them don't want to hear it. Some of them do, whatever. But I think that at a certain point they're not going to have any choice because they'll be out the door. And I think it's going to be. I agree that the NBA is more forward thinking, but I think that it's going to be more useful in the NFL because you are running. I mean, they obviously run set plays in the NBA as well, but you have formations and specific matchups that are just there. It's not as free flowing as the NBA. Is what I mean. Like you can kind of right now if you watch the Lakers or if you watch LeBron play in the last 10 years, he brings the ball up the court, looks around and says, "I want that guy to guard me." And so the screen comes from that guy's man, and then LeBron gets to go one-on-one with whoever he wants to go one-on-one with, right?
Right.
In the NFL, it's you're more assignment based, obviously, than in the NBA. And I think that there's a lot more for an AI to analyze and come back with a game plan in the NFL. But yeah, I think they would be slower to adopt it. But again, that's just kind of in the coaching sense there. In terms of the players, obviously they're going to use more advanced analytics is always, I was going to say always good, but it's not always good for the players, but it's always good in terms of analyzing the game. But I don't know that AI will have much of an effect on the players themselves in the near future, because like I said, you got to pair that with what's going on at Boston Robotics or Boston Dynamics or whatever their name is. And they're not there yet. So in the short term, the players will benefit just from more information, better information and faster information, right? But I would love to see sort of a league where, like I said, you don't really have the offensive defensive coordinators. You make those green dot players kind of mean something where, hey, maybe you do have a little a screen on your wrist or a smartwatch type device on your wrist, and it makes suggestions to you, and the quarterback just calls his play. Like a lot of them do in the hurry up right now.
Well, just because there's so many moving parts in football, you're still going to need coordinators, because even if they're not drawing up the plays per se, to coach the players on running those plays, they're still going to have a role in that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in terms of just game day, calling the plays, calling audibles, and things like that, computers are smarter than people.
And yes, but again, you look at these coaches, even the young coaches in the NFL, they're too conservative. When it gets down to crunch time, when it's, hey, game's on the line, they're gonna be like, yo, shut the computer off. I'm not gonna let you call this for me.
It's gonna be out of their hands.
Yeah.
And this group of coaches that we're talking about right now, being very conservative, are very old. They're not going to be around for too much longer.
Yeah.
And people growing up now, AI is just a tool. It's a thing that you're used to, you're accustomed to, and a thing that you use. It's very scary to old people. Shout out Hendo. But it's not.
Me too.
It's not something that's going to frighten future generations of coaches and players and things like that. It's just going to be a thing that you have. Like, you see all these coaches, who hate social media. They don't want their players on social media and all this stuff, right? And then former players like, oh, I get off social media, blah, blah, blah. But younger people, that's just part of life.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this next story, because we're almost at an hour and a half here. We got to talk some James Harden here, B. We got to talk some James Harden. Guys, yes, I mean, James Harden, still a good basketball player.
Very good,
excellent basketball player. But started out with OKC, Then he went to. He said, "I resemble. I resent that remark. I resemble that remark. I resemble that remark. Hey. But went from OKC to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Unceremoniously got out of Houston. Right. He put on a lot of weight because he didn't want to play, and then he just said it in the press conference, like, I don't feel like being here anymore.
On that plane ride.
Yeah, and then he got traded to Brooklyn, the former Big Three over there, and he said, "Man, Kyrie is tripping. Get me out of here."
Bet you AI would have told you not to put that team together.
Yeah, we should listen to that. That happened, but ends up in Philly, and I honestly thought this is where he's gonna finish his career, because you have a good team there. Win or lose, you're gonna be competing with Embiid. And it's been 2 years, and now he's ready to go. And my thing is this: go where, right? Like that gives you the best chance at a title right now. And he said, "I'll tell you where, the LA Clippers. That's where I want to go." And all these reports are saying he's headstrong on that. It's basically LA or bust, and he thinks he has enough pull to say, "Get me out of here now." And LA is the only team I'm going to go to. I'm not going to resign any other team. Well, the Clippers said, "Yeah, we'll take him, but I mean, we don't want to give you anything."
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not going to give you anything. So in other words, we don't want you, because not even Philly is going to send Harden for nothing. It doesn't matter how malcontent he tries to act. It doesn't matter if he puts on 300 pounds. They're not gonna give him up for nothing. So he ain't going to LA. And there's another report that basically there's no team out there that really wants to give up anything significant for him, because he's burned too many bridges. And this is the thing about these players. Yes, players have a lot of control in the NBA, but you wield your power too much, you lose that power. When you flex your muscle too much, say, "Hey, send me over here. Hey, this ain't working out. Send me over here." After a while, teams just don't want to deal with you, no matter how talented you are. I'm surprised Kyrie got re-signed by Dallas. I thought they're like, "Nah, we're done here." But honestly, that's probably the best deal he was going to get.
Well, yeah, and Dallas, I think, was desperate to put some talent around Luka.
Yeah,
because they see the trade me coming from him as well in a year or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think he'll end up in LA, because I think they're just going to take whatever they can get for him, because they're not going to keep around a James Harden who doesn't want to be there. I think they'll get several picks for him and maybe a role player or two. But yeah, when you're constantly just saying, "Hey, nah, you know what, this ain't working. I'll go over here. Nah, this ain't working." It's like Dwight Howard back in the day, right? Everybody loved Dwight Howard, and then Dwight Howard woke up and was like, "I want to play for Brooklyn," and then he was like, "No, I don't." And then he was like, "I want to stay in Orlando," and he's like, "No, just kidding. Okay, I had a little moment, but I want to be a net." And then they went out and they traded for Darren Williams. And he was like, "Yo, nobody told you to do that. I don't want to play for you." And then, he went back to Orlando, and everybody's like, "Screw you, Dwight." Yeah. And nobody wanted him after that, right? Because you're an unserious person. And that's what James Harden is.
That's the thing. That's a great word to describe it. Unserious. Right?
Yeah. Because
you cost too much money. And we don't want to give it anything serious for it.
You don't care about winning. Look, I disagree with you. And I told you before the playoffs started, they're not winning anything in Philly, because it's a bunch of chokers in Philly. But he's still playing. He's playing at a high level. He's averaging like 20 and 10. But you're not. For years, people have questioned his commitment to the game. Along with Embiid, he always seems to be kind of out of shape. He always runs out of gas in the playoffs. And on top of that, even if he did care and he was in shape, he is one of the biggest chokers we've ever seen.
Yeah, but look, my thing with that is, okay, they choke, but I mean, you would have said that about Denver until this year, right? Like
not like James Harden.
No, but my point is, you don't. I say this all the time. You don't win until you win, right? And I'm not saying I'm not saying they would have won. I'm saying that's probably his best chance.
Listen, there's not getting it done, which is what Denver's been doing up until now. Just not getting it done, not winning. and then there's choking, which is actively losing.
Okay, well, like Dirk Nowitzki, he was a choker most of his career.
I would say he was a choker. He was. They choked 1 year. 1 year they choked when he won the MVP and they got beat by Golden State in the first round. They choked that year. Yeah, and that'll happen to a lot of people, right? LeBron choked his first year in Miami when they played up against Dallas, and every fourth quarter, he got he looked scared out there every fourth quarter. So he choked, and then you get over it. James Harden chokes every single season. Anytime there's a big game and anytime there's an elimination game, you can count on James Harden to play one of the worst games of his career, essentially. He was part of that team that missed, was it 27 or 28 straight 3-point shots in Houston. He was part of he was the guy who set the record for most turnovers in a game 7. He got his shot blocked by 87-year-old Manu Ginobili. James Harden. He actively, he becomes a much, much worse player. Like I said, that's kind of stuff will happen to anybody at one point or another. I said LeBron choked, Dirk choked that 1 year, but then it's not a constant thing. It's a constant thing with James Harden, and honestly, Joel Embiid too. And when their powers combine, you are not going to win anything.
Yeah, look, like I said, the choking part, whatever. Like I said, like players choke. We all know what it is with Harden, right? And I think Embiid takes it more seriously.
He does,
but
he takes it seriously when he's there.
Like the choking part is one thing; it's the attitude. That's not if Harden took it seriously, this is a different conversation. But we know he doesn't take the game serious.
Mm-hmm.
As serious, right? He works hard. He I'm not saying he doesn't work hard. I'm not saying that part. Obviously, he's talented, but to win the NBA, man, you need more than that. You need a lot more. And
I think there's a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like mentally, we know he's not there with it, and because he's so talented, people, teams, they'll take that risk. Say, hey, come over here. We have a shot to win. That's why Brooklyn did it, and I wasn't mad when Brooklyn did it. When you're going all in like that, you do what you gotta do to acquire talent. But clearly, he wasn't serious about winning. Like, really, Brooklyn was probably his best shot at winning if he just stayed there. Him and KD and Kyrie, even without Kyrie.
Yeah,
but he doesn't care, and he's shown that too many times over his career. And now they're at a point. Teams just don't want. We'll take the talent for sure. Just like Kyrie, we'll take the talent, but we're not going to give you anything.
Well, yeah, and I think it is the perception that he doesn't care, for sure, but it is also his playoff performances, because what you're not going to do is, I'm not going to give you an all-star and picks for a guy that I know I can't rely on.
Absolutely.
Whether he really wants it or not. If he was the hardest working guy out there, and he's eat, sleep, basketball, you can't count on him when you need him. So you're still not going to give up all that to get him.
Thank you, Jeremy. Dwight was a choker, but he finally won.
He's a role player, and Dwight wasn't really a choker. I'm trying to think. Dwight wasn't a choker. No, he wasn't.
At least he got to the finals.
He got to the finals. He dragged not a bad team, but a clearly inferior team to the finals. Like, he wasn't a choker. He wasn't on great teams, but he always played well. And yeah, he eventually won as a veteran old player, which is fine. Good for Dwight. Happy for Dwight. But that's not where James is. Yeah. James, like that, he's averaging 20 and 10. He's still one of the better players in the league, and you're not going to give up a ton to get that guy when okay, you know what? It's game 7. Paul George obviously isn't here, and obviously Kawhi Leonard is not either, because that's not their thing, showing up for games.
Oh, by the way, Dirk,
and I'm going to hang on to James.
Yeah, and Dirk choked more than once. He choked in that first Miami Finals he went to with D-Wade and Shaq.
He didn't choke in that series.
They choked. They were supposed to win that.
He didn't choke in the series. Like, they got outplayed. They got beat. He didn't choke.
He choked.
No,
listen. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Absolutely not how it goes.
That's how it goes. You're supposed to. You're the better team. You're the man.
That's
you're supposed to win it.
Not how it goes. It is a team game. Because what you're saying right now is Lamar Jackson's a choker.
No, football's different from basketball. You know that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So they're the same thing?
No, I'm not saying they're the same thing, but they were 14-2. They were supposed to win, and they got beaten. He didn't play well, so he's a choker.
So Lamar did play well in that game. He didn't play well. He had what 500 total yards
and a couple turnovers, and then the season before that, he didn't play well against the Chargers until the last half of the fourth quarter.
Oh, he
didn't play well against Buffalo. So Lamar Jackson's a choker.
Okay, fine.
That's what I'm saying. It's choking when you do it. What he did against Golden State was choking. He just didn't play well.
You know, basketball is it's looked at differently. The whole argument with great players is how many rings did they win? It's not how many rings did the team win. It's how many rings did they win? Because winning always falls on the star player. So it doesn't matter if he played good. Look, LeBron played great when he got swept by Golden State, right? But he got swept, and that's all anybody talks about.
But nobody calls him a choker for it. That's a whole different thing. If you go out and you play well, you're not choking. James Harden doesn't play well.
They choke because they were expected to win, and they didn't win, right? Yes, but he's the star of that team.
But we're talking about individual players.
And people called him a choker. The year they won MVP, number 1 seed, lose to Golden State 8th seed.
And I said he choked in that season. And just like LeBron choked in the first season in Miami. That's not what they've done the rest of their career. We're talking about the individual performance. James Harden plays really bad when you need him to play well. That's not what Dirk Nowitzki does. That's not what LeBron James does.
Look, I'm not comparing Harden to any of those guys. I'm with you on that. I'll even go as far as to say he's not even choking because he just doesn't care enough, right? I
think he cares when he's on the court. I don't think he puts in as much work as everybody else, like in the off seasons and stuff. But he's not going out there trying to miss 28 threes in a row. and it wasn't all him.
But
not all on him.
But if he does, he's still going to Vegas though.
You know what? Hey, you know what? Don't tell people how to grieve.
You're asking them to go to Vegas right before the biggest game of the season. You know where your head is at.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was Dennis Rodman? Did Dennis Rodman not care? Dennis Rodman got lost in Vegas, and Mike had to go find him.
Dennis Rodman needed the outlet. He knew what he needed to get in the zone. Okay. But either
Adrian, I don't think Lamar's a choker. I was making a point.
Yeah. But this is exactly why teams don't want to give up anything for Harden. I don't think he ends up with the Clippers at all.
Because where else makes sense, really? Because the Clippers, they can talk themselves into it because, in theory, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard will be there to carry the load in those games, right? And James will give you what James can give you. And James will make it much easier during the course of the regular season. And those guys can miss some games, right? Because, James will win you some games in the regular season, whatever. That ain't nothing. Yeah. But where else would really make sense for him to LA Lakers? Let's do it.
I was gonna say back to Houston like he planned to. What happened with the trip back to Houston?
Well, I mean, they got a real coach and they started acting like they wanted to sign some talent, and he was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling that Rocket vibe right about now. Said Fred VanVleet.
Jerry says Knicks, Lakers, Bucks, Thunder. Look, whoever's going to keep paying him, that's the answer. He's just, like I said, he's an unserious player, and at this point, I don't think any serious team really wants to deal with him.
No.
All right, that's our basketball news. Okay, we got 15 minutes. We got to move. We got to move. All right, combat corner. Where do you want to start? I was going to talk about Devin Haney.
Well, I'm going to be the positive guy, and I'm going to say, go ahead and clear your schedule because you have two of the biggest fights in boxing coming up in the next 10 days.
Yes.
So next Tuesday morning, Stephen Fulton, and this is the guy I was talking about at the beginning of the show, who is going over to Japan to try and overtake Naoya the Monster Inoue. And that's one. Yeah, they're smaller guys and they don't get as much publicity as the heavier weight classes, but they're two of the absolute best in boxing, and so they're going to be fighting Tuesday morning. You should definitely set your alarm because it's like 4 or 5 in the morning.
It's no. I think they said 8 o'clock.
The thing that I saw was like 5, but who knows?
All right, look, we're gonna have to get figure that out because there's a big difference between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. I gotta know how to set my alarm.
It sounds like it, but that difference is not just 3 hours. But whatever time it is, it is worth waking up to watch that fight. It's one of the best in boxing. And then 4 days later, that weekend, that Saturday night,
that's the poster right there. That's dope. That's dope.
But then 4 days later, and I'm sure you've all heard of this, is Bud Crawford and Errol Spence in the fight that is probably for most people going to decide the #1 pound for pound in boxing.
Yes. I'm trying to pull up a little poster for that too. That's the fight. That's the,
especially since Tyson Fury does not want to fight Alexander Usyk.
Yeah. Hold on. So Usyk is fighting a solid fighter coming up though.
He's fighting an okay fighter. He's fighting a second tier heavyweight.
Josh Dubois, yeah. That's the Crawford, Spence versus Crawford. All right, I know you guys have seen it. That's being promoted everywhere. They have their Showtime preview. What do they call that? All Access.
Oh yeah.
I saw episode 1. That was pretty good. I love those All Access shows because it really dives into the lives of both fighters. You get a little background on each of them. Yeah. But yes, even for casual fans, that's the one. Yes,
years in the making, and on Saturday, July 29th, they're finally going to be in the building.
Yes.
But no, as far as Tyson Fury, he just doesn't want it. He doesn't want Usyk, which is a shame because that is really the only fight in the heavyweight division.
Look, the Francis Ngannou fight is probably a bigger headliner.
Oh, right? Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, go get your money. He's older now, right? He wants to make the biggest fights or make the most money as possible. I don't think he's completely.
It really depends on who you have promoting it because the Francis Ngannou fight's not a real fight. If you have somebody who knows what they're doing promoting it, Fury and Usyk would be huge.
I agree.
But yeah, we'll see.
All right. Look, I'm gonna spend 2 minutes talking about this. Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Devin Haney is the undisputed lightweight champion, right? Mm-hmm. He's already come out and said after he beat Lomachenko, "Hey, it's hard to make this weight. I need to move up to what they call super lightweight, 147,
super lightweight or junior welterweight. Like they gotta pick one."
Yeah. It confuses me every time. So he wants to move up. Now there's some dogs that are up there too, right? Mm-hmm. But I think he's more skilled than a handful of them. Yeah. But there's a few guys that have the belts. One of them is Regis Prograis. That's one of the fights that they're talking about him making so he can get a belt up there. Mm-hmm. But Shakur Stevenson, who's come up from junior lightweight, 1/3. Yeah, junior lightweight, who was undisputed champion there, wants a shot at Devin Haney. Now, Devin Haney / Bill Haney, they both talk trash. They've been writing a lot of checks that they have that they have yet to cash yet.
Okay? Bill Haney's not worried about cashing because he ain't got to get in the ring.
Right. So he's been talking trash about Tank Davis, right? Tank Davis just got out of prison and says, look, let's go. You know, his trainer on the podcast the other day. We've already reached out to him. They don't seem like they want it. All right, look.
Kidding.
Yeah. Shakur Stevenson is out there saying, hey, you know, let's go send the contract. He sent the contract out there. Shakur Stevenson turned it down because it was the split was like 75-25.
It was a running back contract.
Yeah. It was ridiculous, right? So now people are like, oh, Shakur is ducking. So Shakur said, okay, you think I'm ducking? He goes to the WBC or WBO, whichever body, and says, hey, I need to be the mandatory. I'm ranked high enough. Make him my mandatory. So what did they do? Shakur Stevenson is his mandatory opponent, meaning.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. Meaning, yes, fall Ring Kings. We will discuss this more in detail for Ring Kings. I appreciate that. But mandatory basically means that's your next opponent. You have to fight him, or because he was talking about taking a title fight at the next weight class, he can go and take that fight, and then come back and defend his belts.
Yeah.
Or he has to take that fight with Shakur Stevenson or drop the belt.
Yeah, essentially it's take this fight or drop the belt, and they'll make exceptions for, you know, you said championship fights, big time fights, you know, like major fights. They'll make exceptions, but it's fight this guy or drop the belt. Yep.
So we'll see. And he has to make the decision soon. Like, I think that date to make the decision is soon.
I believe it was by the end of this week.
Okay.
But it doesn't, you know, he's been talking a lot about Tank when he was supposed to be fighting, you know, when he was fighting other people, when he was fighting George Kambosos, when he was fighting Vasyl Lomachenko. He won't stop talking about Tank Davis. You know, he talks trash to Shakur Stevenson. Not really when Shakur is right there, but after the Lomachenko fight, Shakur got in the ring and Haney was he made his exit expeditiously. So it doesn't, and again, none of these guys are afraid of any other fighters. That's not what it is. But it doesn't seem like he wants either one of those fights. It seems like he wants to use their names to promote himself, and he wants to take other fights that'll be easier. Because I mean, Prograis is a good fighter. He's a champion at 140, but he's not as skilled a fighter as Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis. So he probably thinks, hey, I can go up there, I can win an easier fight, I can get a belt in another weight class. And then I'm guessing, I don't know this, but I'm guessing that if he beats Prograis, he'll just drop those belts at 135.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, next week I wanted to focus on some UFC. I know our UFC segments are very short and they come in gaps, and that's because there's not much going on in UFC. And I want to discuss, is UFC in trouble next week? I've been saying that since we started, that, you know, the way Dan White runs the UFC, there could be some problems on the horizon. I think they're starting to hit that, and we'll discuss that next week. I have a lot to say about that, but now it's time for trivia time. Okay, and once we're done with trivia time, I don't think we have time for bonus time. We are leaving. We gotta do bonus time, or not bonus time, but we gotta do overtime show. Yes. All right, and we got a lot to talk about on the overtime show. If you missed what we're going to talk about on the overtime show, here it is. Bam, Stephen A. saying, "Oh, somebody getting spicy with me." Okay, let's see what's up then. All right, you got the Flash looking up. He's looking up at Green Lantern. Green Lantern, who did better in the box office than the Flash. Yeah. All right, trivia time. Domestically, yes.
So I figured I'd throw out an easy one this week. With training camp opening up, where did the Baltimore Ravens hold their first training camp? Or if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, where did the Carolina Panthers hold their first training camp way back in 1995? It is exceedingly easy for Panthers fans because they're still going there this year. Well, they're back now.
I don't know either one because I know we weren't Owens.
You know the Panthers one because your friend and mine.
Oh, I know.
Brenton Burson.
Yes,
felt very at home there.
Yes. But, all right. Look. I know a lot of you guys dipped out near the end of the show. This is why you gotta stay to the end of the show because this is for points. Okay, these are some easy points. So put your answers in there The people, first 2 or 3 to get it right. First 2 to get it right, get points. Okay. So we give you a couple minutes. Type your answers in there. If you're still watching, you're paying attention, put your answer in there. But there's one in the chat already. All right. Lucas Oil. It wasn't Lucas Oil. That's right.
What? No.
It wasn't out there?
It doesn't matter if it was or it wasn't. We can't say what the answer is while people are still answering.
Oh, well, I mean, look, I mean, we got to close this poll here soon, okay? We got to close this out.
But I guess that's close enough. But that's you can't answer twice though.
Well, I mean, nobody else answered, so I guess he said Memorial State in the first. All right,
that's where they played their first game.
Living Big with Big Red says, "What's the question again?"
Where did the Baltimore Ravens hold their first training camp? Or, if you prefer, where did the Carolina Panthers hold their first training camp? If you're a Panthers fan, which you should be.
I know the Panthers.
Jesus Christ, Hendo. That's 3 answers from you.
Well, that is in Westminster.
Yeah.
All right. Big Reg, we're giving you a few seconds because we gotta get up out of here. But yeah, I know the castle is a new place. Tracy says Spartanburg, South Carolina.
No cheating.
Is that Wofford, right?
Wofford in Spartanburg. Yes.
Tracy, yes. Wofford. Okay, Tracy, you get points. And where's the Ravens one? Was that McDaniel?
Ravens was at McDaniel College.
Dang, I didn't know that.
All
right. Okay. Yeah, he has a kid that went there. Okay. All right. Those are the 2 winners. That's it. We're closing it out. All right. That's it. All right. Oh, you missed a question, Ferris. You shouldn't. Yeah, well, you gotta be quicker next time.
Yes. Wow.
All right. So, yes, Westminster is where the Ravens originally practiced, and Wofford is where the Panthers have always practiced. So,
nobody said you cheated, Tracy.
No. Nobody's calling you a cheater. Hendo. Hendo, yeah, Hendo's a cheater. Hendo didn't cheat.
Hendo did cheat. He answered like 8 times.
All right. Let's get out of here. We're starting the overtime show. Overtime show is going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to be a part of it, go to patreon.com/LBHT Show. Do you have $5 in your pocket? You do? Good. Go ahead and sign up. That's all you need. That'll give you access to the overtime show and our Discord channel. So come hang out with us. And yes, like Dandy said, before we get out of here, hit that like button and subscribe on your way out, Kings and Queens. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, because there's more and more of you guys that are listening, we're checking the numbers. Thank you so much. Leave us a 5-star review. All right. That helps us a lot. All right. B, are you ready?
I am ready.
He is ready. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Football's almost back. It's almost back. All right. So, let everybody know, share this out with people. Let them know to check out the channel. If you're in the Maryland area, go buy your tickets. Okay. Click that link and get your tickets to the meet and greet August 4th. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Peace.